Hey everybody, it's Neil McGregor here, Market Development Agronomist with Pride Seeds covering Eastern Ontario. Today I want to cover the fundamentals of basic soil fertility for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These fundamentals create a great foundation to support success for your crops coming into the growing season. Starting with phosphorus and potassium, the easiest way to manage these two nutrients is to get an up-to-date soil test, preferably within the last 3 to 4 years. Starting with phosphorus, when you're looking at your soil test results, you look at the bicarb or Olsen value for phosphorus. We're looking to get a value of about 20 to 25 parts per million for this nutrient. That way it's not limiting to the crop. So you're from the low side of that test value, then you should maybe try making it a goal to build up to that level and maintaining at that threshold. Also, if you're on the high side of that, potentially in the 30 parts per million, you should work on trying to draw down those levels. Similar for potassium, that non-limiting level is about 120 parts per million. So the same principle as phosphorus. If you're low, try to build up and maintain to that level. If you're high, you're trying to draw down. High levels for both P and K typically show no benefit to adding additional units of those nutrients. So there's no point in having excess and you try to draw down those. And also with those high levels, you run into the risk potentially losing those nutrients to environmental factors. So moving on to nitrogen, it's always such a tough nutrient to quantify because it's so mobile within the soil system, as we can see here in the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen rates are typically determined based on crop removal. And there are also so many other factors that play into that. So I'm really going to focus more on nitrogen timing instead. Specifically for corn, this is a nitrogen utilization curve. And as we can see, we always get that rapid uptake of nitrogen between that V6 and VT stage. So we always need to make sure that we have supply during that stage. Really, those options of supplying nitrogen are really on a case-by-case basis, and they're preferable to whatever the grower has that fits their system. So some examples of that, say a farm gets lots of manure, there's most likely going to be some organic nitrogen there that's typically going to mineralize and be available throughout the growing season. If that grower may necessarily like to put all their nitrogen up front, either you can put an inhibitor on that nitrogen or use a coated product such as ESN that will release later in the season and most likely during that needed stage. And then always we can split that nitrogen application. We can put some up front and then put some later as well, right in that V4 to V6 stage where it's available for that rapid uptake. And again, I've said this before, there's no silver bullet, there's no one size fits all. It's really a grower by grower basis and what fits your system. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and have a great Plant 20.